Great. Thank you so much, Charles, for that great introduction. Welcome, everyone, to our first, and I hope to be the only, 2020 Executive Leadership Awards event held virtually. I'm honored to be your host tonight. We're going to have a great time tonight meeting some fascinating leaders who have been game changers in helping all of us adapt to these unprecedented times. Now, I don't like to use the word the new normal that you hear about in the news, because I refuse to accept that this pandemic will define who we are for the rest of our lives. This is not the new normal. This is what I call the new abnormal. You are all joining us tonight in your living rooms, in your kitchens, in your bedroom closets. And next year, my wish is that we will all be together again at UCLA. But at least for now, we don't have to fight traffic. And I hope you have a new webcam for Zoom and are enjoying an upgraded home office. So we appreciate all of you joining us tonight to celebrate our honorees and gain insights into your personal and your professional lives. To help us get started, I'd like to have Dean Tony Bernardo with UCLA Anderson share a few words.
Welcome to the 2020 Innovate at UCLA Executive Leadership Awards. My name is Tony Bernardo, and I'm the Dean of the Anderson School of Management at UCLA, where Innovate at UCLA was founded over 40 years ago. Since then, Innovate at UCLA has grown to be Southern California's preeminent technology-focused membership organization, inspiring business innovation and research partnerships across corporate, public, entrepreneurial, and university domains. Innovate at UCLA brings together best-in-class tech leaders, faculty, and of course, the brightest students, and provides access to stellar programming, such as tonight's Executive Leadership Awards. Just as many of you have had to adapt to COVID-19's business disruptions, so have we at Anderson. Our once full classrooms have taken a backseat to this new digital class format, stretching our expectations of how technology can support these new demands. But our community of faculty, staff, and students are all adapting, taking head-on these unique challenges with resilience and growing ever stronger. As such, we look forward to the impactful innovations our community will develop as a result of these difficult times. Our battle against COVID-19 may not yet be over, but there are inspiring people and organizations right here in Southern California heading the fight. At this year's awards, we honor these leaders and their organizations who played a vital role against COVID-19. Tonight, we'll learn about their contributions and hear directly from them, our public officials, entrepreneurial trailblazers, and academic pioneers, as well as from a notable Anderson alum. I officially welcome you, our distinguished guests, awardees, and attendees to the 2020 Innovate at UCLA Executive Leadership Awards. Thank you.
Thanks to Dean Bernardo for those wonderful words. Next up, we're going to have Debbie Simpkins, Vice President of Information Technology at Molina Healthcare, which is a Fortune 200 company based here in Long Beach, where I'm actually standing here tonight, to provide warm welcome remarks as a chair of this awards program. Welcome, Debbie, and thank you so much for bringing all of us together tonight.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. I'm coming to you from my home as well, but I have the Molina background up tonight. And I appreciate you, Thomas, being the host for the evening. It's my pleasure to virtually welcome you this year to the 33rd Annual Innovate at UCLA Executive Leadership Award Program. I'd also like to welcome our special guest for the evening, Guy Kawasaki, our keynote speaker. Welcome, Guy. And Dr. Anne Ramoyne, one of UCLA's preeminent epidemiologists. She'll be joined tonight by Frank Botek, the voice of KNX 1070, to update us on the latest COVID news. And I understand from talking to Anne Ramoyne several times in the last week or so that it changes daily. And so I'm excited to hear what's hot off the presses for that. So a little history. This award was given initially in 1987. And so fast forward to 2020, and the technology has evolved, but the essence of the award has remained consistent and recognizes the exceptional creation of value to achieve the company's vision via innovation, forward-thinking, disruptive, and digital technologies. Top the process that we went through here with a global pandemic, and not surprisingly, that brings us to this year's theme for the award, which is organizations that have realigned their services and actually thrived during COVID-19 and responded with the intensity to positively impact the health and safety of the public in Southern California, like me and many of you on this call tonight. And in some cases, actually internationally and worldwide. So, and they're all right here in the Los Angeles area. So we'll get to hear each of their great stories in a few minutes, but I did have a few folks that I wanted to thank. We start this process in the March-April timeframe, which was right before the topic of COVID, and have a committee that participated in this year's process. So I wanted to thank all those committee members, as well as the Office of Information Technology at UCLA, who coordinates our virtual events. I'd also like to give a special shout out to our MBA Anderson students. I'm not sure if all of you are on, but those of you who are on, if you could show your cameras for 1 second and wave. So historically, we've identified candidates exclusively through the ELA committee. However, this year, we formed a partnership with UCLA Anderson School of Management and our 5 wonderful MBA students. So despite all the fluidity and the chaos from March and April, these students accepted the challenge to identify the pipeline of award candidates that emerged and differentiated themselves through our process this year. So please join me in acknowledging Pranav Joshi, Luke Kaz, Addie Quirk, Genevieve Vadia, and Paul Valencia. A big thank you. You guys did a great job this year. We couldn't have done it without you. So now I'd like to transition the program to Davida Johnson. Davida is the Managing Director of Partnerships and Programs from UCLA's Office of Information Technology. Good evening, Davida.
Good evening, Debbie, and good evening, everyone. So thank you for that, Debbie. Right now, it is my pleasure to give a warm welcome to Jim Davis, the Chief Academic Technology Officer and Vice Provost of IT for the UCLA Office of Information Technology, and Jim Rinaldi, the former CIO of NASA JPL and the current Executive Director for Innovate at UCLA. So welcome, Jim and Jim. So I think it's fantastic that we have so many people here tonight, and some of you may not be familiar with Innovate at UCLA and its relationship to UCLA. So I'm here with Jim and Jim tonight to talk more about the role of the university and our 40-year partnership, 40-plus year partnership with Innovate at UCLA. So Jim Davis, as the UCLA sponsor of Innovate at UCLA since 2013, what do you think is the secret to such a long-lasting partnership between the university and Innovate at UCLA?
Yeah, thanks, Davida. Jim, good evening. Davida, I'm not dodging your question before I dive in. I just want to extend a warm welcome to everyone, congratulate the award winners, welcome the guests, welcome everyone, and also point out, as Thomas did, welcome to UCLA's richly appointed virtual environment. Hope this is the first and only, but we really are enjoying the possibilities here. I should also start off by saying this is about my 20th Executive Leadership Award event. And the longevity of this, I think speaks for itself. It's such a wonderful time to kind of step out of the CIO IT community and celebrate where IT has real impact. And as been said already, impact in this COVID environment is pretty significant at this point. But coming back to the question, the longevity piece, from a UCLA standpoint, Innovate is one of the, probably the strongest examples of UCLA's public mission and the ability to, for a public institute or public institution, to take on a partnership with other public and private institutions around the city and have real impact. You'll hear throughout the evening, programs about sharing and learning. You'll hear about two-way communications with UCLA faculty. And if I digress a moment just on that point, the COVID-19 is a major event. UCLA has played a big role. You'll hear that a little bit later, but it's played many roles. UCLA has been part of the vaccine research, working that one through. It's been part of making sure the information to the public has been accurate, and we all know that particular situation. It's even been involved in the manufacturing side. For those of you who don't know, Johnson & Johnson saw a 500% increase in Tylenol. That's a significant disruption to the supply chain that needed to be dealt with. But these are examples of where UCLA has played a public role going forward. But back to Innovate, which is all part of this, there's additional programs, Women in Technology, Students in Technology, Young Tech Professionals. If you put all this together, the fundamental thing that underlies all of this are the relations. And that's the part that never goes away. So to me, this is a great event. It's celebrating technology, but most importantly, it's celebrating relations. And that to me is what keeps this whole organization vibrant and continuing. And as we're all hearing, we're in our 40th year. So Jim, over to you.
Awesome.
Or back to you, Davida, right?
Yes. Thank you, Jim. I cannot agree more with what you just said. Jim Rinaldi, as a former CIO of NASA JPL, you've been at the forefront of innovation for many years, and we were thrilled that you accepted the role of the executive director at Innovate UCLA earlier this year. Can you tell us more about Innovate at UCLA and why it's important to the broader tech community, which is comprised of over 40 plus government and private sector companies and organizations?
Thank you, Davida, and thank you for the comments, Jim, as well. As you heard from Tony earlier that talked about what Innovate is at UCLA is about, I'm going to give a little more personal story. First of all, I'm excited to be the executive director. I've been very fortunate in my career to work and be with premier organizations, and I consider this one of the best. And I would say also, as when I came to Southern California 15 years ago, I did not have the community that I was used to being on the East Coast. I was formerly the CIO for FDA. And so when I was joining JPL, it was very new. LA was new to me, and so was the communities around LA. And so being introduced to Innovate, at the time it was called IS Associates, was a big deal. And it helped me build relationships, to network, and to get to know other organizations and industries, quite frankly, in the LA area. And I really think that's what Innovate does. For any CIO or direct report to a CIO or a company for that matter, because the membership extends all the way through, that this organization being member-led, member-driven, the content is rich with our presentations, our discussions. We leverage UCLA with all the expertise and access to the brain power we have here at UCLA. And I feel like it is a premier organization for those who are in IT or serve IT or even customers of IT to be a part of, because you can learn so much, you can share so much, and you can contribute so much. We learn from our students, we learn from the professors, and we also learn from each other. And so I welcome all the attendees tonight, and I hope if you're interested in becoming a member of Innovate at UCLA, that you will go to UCLA's or Innovate at UCLA's website and find out more information and hopefully join. But thank you so much, Davida, and I look forward to the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Jim Davis and Jim Rinaldi.
Great, thanks, Davida. And by the way, Jim, we're so excited to have you as our executive director for Innovate at UCLA. We know under your stewardship that you would take us to that moon and back again. So thank you so much.
We'll go to Mars.